You know, looking around lately, things feel different. Not just the news, but the air itself.
It's palpable, and there is a reason for that. Nostradamus wrote something back in 1555 that has suddenly begun to make sense right now in 2026.
1555. That's nearly 500 years ago.
It is, but what he says about this specific year changes everything you thought you knew about your future. Listen to this line. When the sky weeps fire and the earth trembles in response, the awakened will see what the sleeping ignore.
What the sleeping ignore. That's heavy.
And do you know what date accompanies that verse, 2026?
So we are living through the timeline he marked.
Precisely. This year, right now, there are 5 predictions the French seer marked for these months, and the first has already begun to manifest. I'm not talking about vague interpretations or far-fetched symbolism here. I'm talking about concrete events, specific dates and signals appearing exactly where he said they would.
That's what usually frustrates me about prophecies. They feel so open to interpretation. But you're saying this is specific.
Very specific. But what's most unsettling isn't just the events. It's that Nostradamus didn't only predict what would happen, he predicted who would see it and who wouldn't. He spoke of 2 kinds of people, those connected to something greater and those who will live through these events without truly understanding what's happening on a cosmic level.
That gives me chills. It's like 2 people watching the same movie, but seeing a completely different story.
Exactly. And here's the part that really matters. According to his quatrains, 2026 is not a year of catastrophes.
It isn't, because it feels volatile.
It's volatile, yes, but it is a year of revelations. It's a hinge moment where humanity can choose to awaken or remain asleep. The 5 signs he wrote are like alarms designed to shake those who are ready to see beyond the obvious.
Okay, walk me through them. What are we looking for?
The first prophecy involves the sky. The second involves water. The third speaks of a discovery that will change how we understand our existence. The fourth mentions a leader no one expects. And the fifth is personal.
Personal.
Extremely. It speaks about you, your purpose, and why you are here at this precise moment in history. It's no coincidence that you're listening to this right now. Nostradamus said his words would reach those who needed to hear them at the exact moment.
If we've made it this far into 2026, there's a reason.
There is. So let's break down each prophecy, connecting the dots between 1555 and today.
Let's start with the first one. You mentioned the sky.
Nostradamus' first prophecy for 2026 speaks of lights that are not stars and a sky that will reveal hidden truths.
Sounds mystical.
It does, until you connect the dots. In Century 8, Quatrain 14, he wrote, "When the firmament shows unknown signs, men of science will question their certainties, and the divine will speak through what they believe to be empty."
What they believe to be empty? You mean space?
Exactly. For centuries, this was interpreted as a reference to comets or eclipses, but in 2026, it takes on a completely different meaning. Have you noticed the exponential increase in sightings in the sky this year?
Absolutely. And it's not just fringe internet forums anymore. We're seeing official data, commercial pilot reports.
Declassified military recordings too. Something is shifting in our atmosphere and in our perception of what is real and what isn't. You see, Nostradamus was a man deeply connected to the spiritual. He didn't see the future as a movie unfolding in a straight line. He saw it as layers of consciousness overlapping.
So when he talks about the sky, he's talking about consciousness.
He isn't referring only to physical space. He's talking about the expansion of our collective consciousness. Think of it this way. For years, we've looked upwards, searching for answers, searching for signs that we're not alone, that there is something bigger. According to this prophecy, 2026 is the year that search finds a response.
Are we talking about contact aliens?
Not necessarily in the form of direct alien contact, though that is within the range of possibilities. It's more in the form of understanding. Scientists are reporting atmospheric anomalies they cannot explain with current models, patterns of light, electromagnetic frequencies, phenomena that challenge the physics we know.
And the spiritual connection?
Nostradamus suggests these events are not accidents. They are calls, reminders that we live in an intelligent, conscious universe that communicates with us in ways we are only beginning to understand. The real question isn't what is happening in the sky. The question is, why is it happening now? And more importantly, why are we being called to witness it?
It goes back to that inflection point you mentioned.
Precisely. Celestial signs appear when humanity is at an inflection point, when we need to remember we are part of something infinitely greater than our daily worries. In his vision, the sky is like a cosmic mirror reflecting our collective inner state.
But not everyone sees it that way, do they?
No, and that is the deepest part of this first prophecy. Some people will look up and see only natural phenomena, scientific explanations, nothing more. Others will look at the same sky and feel a call, a connection to something sacred, an invitation to awaken. The difference isn't in the sky, it's in you, your level of receptivity, your willingness to see beyond the obvious.
It's an invitation.
A first step towards something much larger unfolding in 2026, and what comes in the second prediction connects directly to the most essential element of life.
Which brings us to the water. I have to ask, have you felt lately that something is changing? That sense that the world is moving towards something new, something unknown?
If you are feeling that, you aren't imagining it. You are sensing exactly what Nostradamus saw 5 centuries ago. And this leads us to the second prophecy, which is perhaps the most enigmatic.
What did he write?
He wrote, "The water that gives life will become a mirror of the human soul, revealing purity where there is pure intent, and sickness where there is shadow."
A mirror of the human soul. Now, before we dismiss that as poetic symbolism, we have to look at what science is saying right now.
Correct. Scientists are discovering something extraordinary about water, something Eastern spiritual traditions have always known, and Western science is only now beginning to validate. Water has memory.
I've read about this. The idea that water responds to intention.
More than that, it responds to emotions, to consciousness. Recent studies show that the molecular structure of water changes when exposed to different emotional frequencies. Words of love, thoughts of gratitude, intentions of healing, all of this physically alters water's composition at a quantum level.
And the opposite must be true, right?
Negativity, anger, destructiveness, everything leaves an imprint. Why is this relevant to Nostradamus's prophecy? Because he saw that in 2026, humanity would begin to understand that we are co-creators of our reality in far more literal ways than we imagined.
When you think about it, water covers 70% of the planet. It makes up 70% of our bodies.
We are essentially conscious water. And here is the crucial point. If water reflects our consciousness, then the global water crisis we are facing is not only a resource crisis, it is a consciousness crisis.
That's a powerful reframing. It's the Earth showing us a mirror of our internal state.
Nostradamus saw it clearly. He saw a moment when humanity would have to choose, keep treating water as a dead resource to be extracted and polluted, or begin honoring it as what it truly is, a living, conscious force that responds to how we treat it.
Does the prophecy mention what happens based on that choice?
It says specifically that in this year, certain places will experience unexpected purification of water, while others will see accelerated deterioration. And what's fascinating is that this won't follow logical patterns of industrial pollution. It will follow patterns of collective consciousness.
So communities that are spiritually awakening,
Communities living in harmony, honoring nature, they will report inexplicable improvements in the quality of their water sources. Places dominated by greed, exploitation, and disconnection will see the opposite. This isn't magic, it's quantum physics. It's the law of reflection.
It places a huge responsibility on the individual, doesn't it?
A sacred responsibility. You can no longer think of water as just something that comes out of a faucet. Every time you drink water, you are drinking consciousness. Every time you bless water, you are literally changing its structure.
It's a cosmic wake-up call happening in our own bodies.
The question this prophecy asks you is simple but profound. What are you projecting into the water of your body? What emotions, what thoughts, what intentions are you imprinting into the 70% of your being that is water? Because according to Nostradamus, in 2026 it will no longer remain hidden. It will manifest in your health, your energy, your reality.
Which leads us to the third prophecy. This one sounds like it changes our understanding of where we come from.
It shakes the foundations of history. Nostradamus wrote, "What was buried out of fear will be unearthed out of necessity. The ancients will speak again, and the moderns will listen to what was always there."
Buried out of fear. Are we talking about archaeology?
We are, but not just any discovery. Nostradamus was specific. He spoke of chambers beneath the sand where the lion stands guard, and texts that predate the flood.
The lion standing guard? That sounds like the Sphinx.
For centuries, scholars believed he was referring to Egypt, specifically secrets beneath the Sphinx, and it turns out they were right. In 2026, an expedition is underway to explore the underground chambers beneath the Giza Plateau.
And the ground-penetrating radar results?
They've detected something impossible according to the official chronology. We're talking about a library dating back at least 12,000 years.
That's 7,000 years before civilization supposedly began in Sumer.
Exactly. And according to initial readings, this library contains star maps, texts on consciousness, and technology that blends the spiritual with the physical in ways modern science is only beginning to rediscover.
But why now? Why discover this in 2026?
Nostradamus tells us this discovery isn't random. It's not just to fill out history books. It's a message from our ancestors for this exact moment. Ancient civilizations that reached levels of consciousness we are only starting to recover left time capsules. They buried knowledge, waiting for the moment humanity would be ready to receive it again.
Because we're at a tipping point.
Because we are at a point in our evolution where we either make the leap into higher consciousness or we self-destruct. Our ancestors knew we would pass through this. They went through it too. They survived. And they left instructions.
I imagine there will be pushback on this.
The prophecy warns of institutional resistance. Some will try to suppress it, ridicule it. But it also says the knowledge will reach those who must receive it. The souls who came to this planet specifically for this moment of transition.
It validates that feeling so many people have, that humanity has achieved enlightenment before. That we aren't evolving into something new, but remembering something ancient.
Exactly. You are awakening abilities that were always there asleep. Nostradamus saw that in 2026, this ancestral knowledge would seep into the collective consciousness through dreams, intuitions, memories that aren't from this life, but feel real.
I think a lot of listeners can relate to that. That sense of knowing more than you should know. Recognizing things you've never seen.
That isn't imagination. It's memory, ancestral memory, and it's awakening because the cycle is repeating. This brings us to the fourth prophecy about leadership.
Leadership, that's a loaded word in 2026.
It is, and what Nostradamus saw will surprise you. He wrote, "One will arise whom none expect, not from palaces but from ashes. He will speak truths that make people uneasy, and the awakened will recognize the voice they have been waiting for."
Not from palaces, but from ashes. Is he talking about a politician?
No, let me clarify. Nostradamus wasn't speaking of traditional politicians or elections. He was speaking of a completely different kind of leadership. Spiritual, authentic, radically honest.
A movement.
A global movement growing faster than any political party. It has no official name, no hierarchy, but it has truth. Millions of people are tired of lies, tired of corrupt systems. The prophecy speaks of someone emerging from ashes, meaning someone who has been through destruction, hit rock bottom and found truth in that darkness.
So this leader doesn't seek power?
Power seeks them. They won't have a political agenda. They'll have a spiritual vision. They won't promise easy fixes. They'll offer a hard path, but an authentic one toward transformation.
And the prophecy says people will recognize this voice?
Nostradamus says this leader will speak in the language of the soul. The message won't be intellectual, it will be vibrational. Those who are ready will recognize it not by logic, but by how it feels. Resonance.
We're seeing voices like that emerging everywhere now. Not famous people necessarily, but...
Exactly. Spiritual teachers, healers, conscious activists. Nostradamus didn't just see a single leader. He saw a distributed leadership, a network of awakened souls recognizing one another. It looks like an invisible plan that everyone knows, but no one consciously designed.
Collective consciousness in action.
Yes, and the prophecy warns there will be resistance. Old systems will try to discredit or silence these voices. But Nostradamus says the more they try to suppress them, the stronger the movement becomes. You cannot extinguish a flame of truth without creating more fire.
And the most powerful part, this could be anyone.
It could be you. You don't need millions of followers. You just need to live your truth. The leader he predicted isn't a person. It's a state of consciousness. It's humanity awakening to its own power.
Which brings us to the final prophecy, the fifth one. You said this one is personal.
This is the one that impacts me the most. It speaks directly to you. Nostradamus wrote, "Every soul will feel the call in its destined moment. Some will awaken with thunder, others with a whisper, but none who are ready will remain asleep when the universe knocks at their door."
Thunder or a whisper. That describes it perfectly.
This isn't about external events. It's about the inner process you are moving through right now. If you are listening to this, your moment has arrived. In 2026, there is an energetic acceleration. Mystics call it the event or the ascension wave. Nostradamus called it the great revelation of the self.
How does that actually feel for people?
The veil lifts. Distractions stop working. You face the fundamental questions: who am I really? Why am I here beyond just survival?
You mentioned thunder. That implies crisis.
For some, yes, illness, loss, a collapse of safety. It's devastating but necessary. For others, the whisper, a growing restlessness, synchronicities, dreams that feel real.
If someone is feeling that restlessness, that sense that the old way of being just doesn't work anymore, that's the call.
That is evolution. Nostradamus was very specific. Awakening is not comfortable. It's a process of stripping away everything that isn't truly yours. Beliefs, identities, fears. It's like a snake shedding its skin.
And that space in between, shedding the old skin but not yet having the new one, that's terrifying.
It is vulnerability. It is confusion. But if you are in that space now, breathe. You are exactly where you need to be. Nostradamus saw that in 2026, millions of souls would be in this process simultaneously.
We aren't alone in the void.
So the planet needs critical mass. And the prophecy says when the seeker is ready, the universe conspires. 2026 is the year of cosmic conspiracy in your favor.
So we need to trust the process.
Resisting your own evolution is like trying to keep a butterfly trapped in a cocoon. The souls who surrender, who say yes to the unknown, they will experience miracles, synchronicities, abundance, purpose. Everything you searched for externally will emerge from within.
So, when we look at all 5 of these together, the sky, the water, the ancient discovery, the leadership, the personal call, it's a map.
A map of collective transformation. Step 1, the sky, awakening cosmic consciousness. Step 2, water, awakening responsibility and co-creation. Step 3, the discovery, awakening ancestral memory. Step 4, leadership, awakening empowerment. Step 5, the personal call, individual transformation.
It's a ladder.
Each step prepares you for the next. Nostradamus understood that evolution is cyclical. We are ending a cycle of separation and entering a cycle of unity. But this transition doesn't happen automatically. It requires active participation.
And timing matters.
Crucially, Nostradamus was specific about 2026 because this year represents a window. The veil is thinner. Transformation is easier right now. The seeds you plant now will have exponential impact.
So, for the listener who has stayed with us this far, what do they actually do with this information?
First, honor what you feel. If this resonated, trust that. It's your soul recognizing truth. Second, watch the signs. They are manifesting in your personal life. Pay attention to synchronicities. Third, take aligned action. Knowledge without application is just entertainment. If you know you are a co-creator, what will you change? Fourth, connect with others. Find your tribe. Transformation happens in community. And fifth, trust divine timing, even when it doesn't make sense.
Nostradamus had a closing line about this, didn't he?
He did. The end is also the beginning, and at the point of greatest darkness, the light finds its way.
The old world dying, the new one being born.
And you are here to play a role in that birth. Nostradamus' prophecies for 2026 aren't about predicting the future. They are about co-creating the future. That future depends on the choices you make today.
You are more powerful than you think.
And more prepared than you realize. Now is your moment to awaken fully. Thank you for listening.
Keep your light.